Hello everybody, welcome to an episode of the Morning Metro. It is February 17th, 2018, and we have, should have turned down, oh dang, I was always mess up the intro. But yes, hi everybody, we're here for a special episode. We have Misa Girl with us today as a special guest. So hello Misa.
Hello.
Glad you're with us. How are you today?
I am pretty good. I'm glad it's the weekend.
Yeah, so am I. Gertron, as always here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am Groot.
You are Groot. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. So, yeah, so we've got a, once again, as always, super packed show. Like, when do we never have a packed show? So, yeah, but before we go ahead and get any more into it, let me actually go ahead and pause this here. We're going to go ahead and do a little interview with our special guest today. So, of course, as I mentioned, we have Misa Girl 27, who we welcome with open arms to the show. And if that's okay with me, so we wanted to ask you just a couple questions about yourself, who you are, things like that and such. So, just if you would, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm Misa Girl 27, and I'm a Twitch streamer, and that's mainly what I do in my free time is like streaming, and then there's work. But I also have hobbies outside of that, like singing is really big for me, which I'm trying to get back into. Music is like huge with my life, and that's about it. I love dogs. I have a little dachshund, and I'm 22. I just turned 22 on Valentine's Day.
Oh, nice. Well, happy late birthday.
Thank you.
So,
Okay, I've got to point out here. It's Misa Girl 27. I did not know how old you were, so I was kind of thinking, is the 27 your age? Is that what we're looking at?
It's okay. I originally, like, if you look at my Twitter is just a Misa Girl.
Right.
And that's what I want on all my social media, but Misa Girl, for some reason, is taken on everything.
I hate it. Oh.
So then I was like, okay, well, I'll just stick my favorite number at the end. So 27 is actually my favorite number.
Nice.
I'm not 27 years old.
Oh, okay. Cool. Fair enough.
What kind of music do you like to sing? I mean, are we talking pop, rock, rap?
Good question.
Well, I am so universal with music. Like, I don't have a one type of music that I like will stick to. Like back in high school, I took opera lessons. I did like classical and opera music for like 4 years.
Okay.
And then I started going into R&B and pop music. I feel like what suits my voice the best would probably be like R&B, kind of like jazzy kind of style, like Adele, Alicia Keys.
Very cool.
And then, but I also fit really well into like opera and classical music too. So,
very cool.
I love all kinds of music.
Figaro.
Yeah.
I like opera. Just
Really?
saying.
I didn't know this about you.
Browser, but the music.
It strengthens your voice when you do. That's what a lot of successful music artists. They always start off classical and then they move into pop, and they have really strong voices.
Very cool. If you mind me asking, where are you from, or whereabouts do you like live? And I know you have a job. Do you mind if I ask what you do for a living?
Code, your full street
Well,
address,
no. I'm just whereabouts are you from?
In the Chicagoland area, Illinois.
Very cool.
Yeah, the suburbs. About like an hour away from Chicago. Just in the suburbs land.
Very cool.
Now, I have heard that there are a lot of shootings that go on down there. Is your area relatively safe?
It's 100% safe. I mean, there's a lot of like druggies, but that's everywhere.
True.
Yeah.
But it's not a ghetto area. Like, I would say my town is probably one of the most chill towns in like the whole area.
Gotcha.
It's like nothing ever happens here. So
It's like Japan then.
not that nice, but like a Walmart version of Japan. Without the cherry blossoms.
Nice. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living beside Twitch streaming?
I work at UPS full time. Yeah, I've been working at UPS for like 2.5 years now. So.
Whoa. So does that mean you can get me like free stamps and free package slips?
Haven't you learned that nothing in life is free?
Well, I mean,
no matter what.
Well,
Okay.
I guess Gertrude would have. I guess Gertrude has mixed feelings about that. I know you have to usually pay for things.
Well, it depends, but yeah, I can get a good discount, but I can't give things away for free.
And have to talk later.
and I know you mentioned streaming. So when do you stream, or where can like people come see you, and what's your stream schedule if you've got one?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm working on being 100% consistent.
Gotcha.
I'll stream the days that I say I stream. I'll for sure stream on that day, but it's not always around the same time because my schedule is kind of chaotic. But
yeah, I can imagine.
I stream basically every day except Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's more towards the evening. So like, I live in Central Standard Time, so it's gonna be around like between 7 to 8:30 p.m.
Nice. And you guys can check out Misa Girl at twitch.tv/MisaGirl27 and follow her on Twitter at twitter.com/Misa Girl without the 27.
Yes.
So
thank you.
Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and jump into the our article train, which is about to leave the station, and we're actually going to go ahead and do an article that Misa submitted toward the beginning here. And me and Gertrude have not read this, so Misa, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and sort of explain what this Mandela effect is.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is really trippy. Like, because of my like religious beliefs, I don't honestly, I don't believe it, but it still kind of creeps me out. Makes you think. But basically, the Mandela effect is a phenomenon that is experienced, that people experience when like you remember something a certain way, but you look back at it and it was never like that. So like, basically what this originated from was from this guy named Nelson Mandela. People remember him dying when he was in prison back in the 80s, but his actual death was on December 5th, 2013. And people claim that they remember seeing his funeral on TV, and they remember him dying in the 80s in prison, but the facts, they state that he didn't pass away until 2013. So that tripped a lot of people out, and that's what gave it the name Mandela effect, because that's one of the biggest ones. And there's some really crazy ones. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, okay, the Berenstein Bears. That's like the main one. What do you remember it as? Do you remember it being Berenstein or Berenstain Bears?
Depends if you're dyslexic or not, like me.
Well, this is true. Do you remember the Berenstein Bears having an EIN at the end or AIN? Berenstein or Berenstain?
I really don't. I'd never really actually pay attention because it wasn't really a show that I like personally watched. Gertrude, do you?
Okay. Now, when I was a kid, these were my favorite books to read. And I remember it as an EIN.
Right? Me too. I remember Berenstein Bears, but in reality, it's actually Berenstain Bears, AIN.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Yeah.
My entire childhood has been a lie.
It's been a lie. Yeah. The cake was a lie, too.
Indeed.
Okay, here's another one. Do you guys eat Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I do. From time to time, yeah.
Yes.
So, how do you spell it? Off the top of your head.
CHICK? I mean, sound makes sense. Chick.
Like how you remember it? Do you remember it being like just CHIC fillet or CHICK?
I always heard it pronounced as chick, like as in CHICK dash.
Okay, this isn't a good example because you guys got it right.
Oh.
Okay. So here's another one. Remember, you guys have seen Star Wars, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, we're Star Wars fanatics here. Yes.
Okay. What does he say when Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father?
Well, the most famous phrase is, "Luke, I am your father."
That's what I've always remembered as.
It's Luke, I am your father. if you go back to the video, I could send you guys a YouTube clip right now. He actually says, "No, I am your father."
I have the clip actually currently playing here. Let's see if I can pick this out here. Credit to Lucas Films for the film for this scene as well. We're not trying to steal anything. Let me skip to where. Why is my PC audio only in one side? What the heck? I gotta fix that in post-production.
It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
And where's the actual... So if I skip ahead a little bit.
There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you.
I'm watching it too.
Yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me.
So I can scrub just a little bit further ahead.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
Oh. So he did say, "No, I am your father." Oh, that's interesting. I never realized that. Like,
Does that trip you out?
A little
Like,
bit,
that
yeah.
Freaked me out. Because everybody, like, literally, I think even the actors, like, in the movie, remember it as Luke, I am your father. Like, even the actors.
Well, it's... I think what it is that digitally, from a sound design perspective, his voice is so heavily modulated that, you know, you have to understand that the age of the film, when the film was remastered, things like that, it's going to seem like he said, "Luke, I'm your father," because that's what our brains want to interpret it as, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think it was the actual voice actor for Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
In an interview, they asked him, like, to repeat the like phrase, and he says, "Luke, I am your father," in the phrase. Like, even the own voice actor that read the script and played the part, like, it's just kind of strange.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, very interesting and that is pretty weird. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
there's tons of them. Like, even Kit Kat doesn't have a dash in between it. I always thought it did.
Oh wow.
Wait, it has a dash.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
I always thought the dash was there, you know, to represent the actual Kit Kat.
Nope, there's no dash.
Wow.
Huh. There's all kinds of stuff on
My life
this.
is now just a lie. My childhood was a
Articles
lie,
that
but now
show
my life
tons
Yeah,
of
definitely.
examples.
Wow.
Yeah, does Curious George have a tail?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
I remember him having a tail, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
That is really weird. So it's kind of, so in a way it seems like more like our brains just missing certain details. Like we think, like, well, it's sort of like things that seem logical, I guess, to us. Somehow our brain just misses the details and misinterprets something.
Yeah, and that's the logical, reasonable answer. But other people have a theory that there's some kind of parallel universe, which is like, that's like the outrageous, like, conspiracy that I don't personally believe, but
Nor do I, no.
people believe that, like, that people have, like, time traveled or something and have caused a shift in the universe, and that we're in some kind of parallel universe. This is the theory. It was weird. That the world ended, but then someone reversed time and caused the world not to end. So then that caused us to go into a parallel universe.
Oh
but
my
then
God.
we're having memories of our past universe that we were in.
Wow.
That's the conspiracy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big conspiracy. Or I could just say there was a the TARDIS shifted through time. Ooh, do not attempt to adjust your TV set.
Yeah, I just think it's our brains not
Catching
like,
certain things, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, cool. Well, we're gonna head and move on to thank you for contributing that article. That was definitely interesting. But we're gonna head and move right along the article train to, unfortunately, some sad news. We bumped this show with this article to the beginning because I didn't want to end it on the bad note. Gertrude originally put it at the end of the document. I put it to the front of the document. We both decided to, actually, rather.
Yes.
But unfortunately, this week, Florida experienced a tragedy. Apparently, there was a... Ertron, I guess you want to do this article, so you go ahead and talk about this. So I'll give you your thunder here.
So, Nicholas Cruz allegedly opened fire inside a Florida school on Wednesday. That is on February 14th. And killed at least 17 people, both adults and children.
Wow.
It's one of the 10 deadliest mass shootings in modern U.S. history, according to law enforcement authorities, school officials, and witnesses all time. Well, it's just...
I want to quick say, from all of us at TMM, and of course, Misa Girl, our guest, our hearts, prayers, as always, go out to you guys. I cannot imagine. Unfortunately, and actually, one of my own viewers actually said that they hadn't, and I need to reach out to them. They mentioned that one of their own friends was apparently was at the school during the shooting, and they hadn't heard from their friend since then. So I really hope that everything turned out okay there. But yeah, we are very heartbroken and upset to hear of this. And Florida, we love you guys. We're praying for you all. But man, that's just people are messed up.
And this all could have been avoided because the FBI were actually given reports and notified that this person was actually in a bad mental state. He'd actually made comments on his Facebook page and comments on another person's Twitter feed, basically stating that, you know, I'm going to be a professional school shooter.
Wow.
You know, and they actually gave information to the FBI, and the FBI just failed to follow up on the reports.
Wow, that's crazy. And hello, Archer. Welcome to the show. No, you're not late. We did a later episode because Misa Girl's schedule. But welcome to the show. But yeah, and see, this is what so frustrates me about like our just sort of America in general. We know, like, it's like there's so many things we could prevent, and then we don't do it. And we're like, you know, you had the information, you knew this was here, and you did nothing. Like, hello? And a lot of people's lives could have been saved had they, like, acted and done something ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Misa, do you have an opinion on this, or what do you think of this here?
I mean, I think that obviously it's a serious issue, and I feel like it all comes down to, like, how people are being raised. Like it goes down to where they're coming from, and also just like I feel like people aren't taking like mental disabilities and disorders seriously.
Yeah,
like if it would have been taken more seriously, it possibly could have been changed differently. At least I would hope.
Yeah.
But it just sucks that it happened. But that's the thing, like it happened and there's nothing we can do other than just pray for their families.
Definitely.
And everyone.
Yeah, there's actually there's a memorial video that was posted by NBC News actually that just talks about the different or shows the different people that were involved with this and stuff, but it's really, you know, nobody needed this, nobody asked for this and stuff, and some of these kids are just so young, and you know, and I think as I recall, like the reason why this kid like flipped or something was something effective, like he had been I guess previously expelled from the school, and then
been expelled from multiple schools. This just happened to be one of them. And from my understanding, and I'm just using this from memory, so don't anybody quote me on this. Go out the research yourself if you want. But supposedly his girlfriend was still at that school, and actually ex-girlfriend, and she had started seeing somebody else, and that kind of flipped him off.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
I think it's more than that though. He was adopted, I think. And his two like adoptive parents passed away. He had nobody. He had nothing to lose. And I also think he might have he has some issues in his mind, and he didn't get help from it, and nobody took him seriously.
Yeah.
And I think he also had an obsession with like just like people said he liked to hurt small animals. That's like a number one sign. That's a warning sign that someone
definitely
is going to do something like that, hurting animals.
He was in, Archer says in chat he was in foster care if I remember correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you see now what I do, I only do this to bugs. I capture the big flies and I take little toothpicks and I stick them to it and then I like poke them into the ground as like little warning signs for other flies,
Right.
Caution, you're entering the dead zone.
Right.
No, nothing like that means it's like if you actually like go out and you torture an innocent animal or anything and find amusement out of it. Like that's where something's not right.
Yeah. It's that's definitely really unfortunate thing. I mean, I'm glad that they, as I recall, I think they did get him into custody, which is good.
Well,
but
they have him in custody now. I mean,
but just unfortunately now it's like not only are these people's lives cut short, but now depending on what the judgment ruling is on it, now he's basically cut off the rest of his life from doing anything else, beside probably being in jail or whatever they decide to do.
Or as something that's is on everybody's mind is, and also Misa girl, you were the one who kind of brought this up before the show started, was should he get the death penalty?
I mean,
for me, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Death penalty, it doesn't matter what happens to him. His true judgment is going to happen after he is passed over.
True.
That's where the true judgment is going to be, and nothing that happens to him, no matter how he's penalized here on Earth, doesn't matter. That true judgment is going to happen when he's passed over, and that's all I can say is like,
Yeah.
Now, I personally believe. Now, I have nothing against the death penalty at all. So this isn't me saying, nobody should get the death penalty. But I think what they need to do is they need to lock him up into solitary confinement.
That's what I think too.
And just leave him there till he dies.
Life in jail.
That I think would be even more punishment, because I think some people get off too easily when they get the death penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're being put out of like any kind of, well, not always, but like there's no punishment. If you're sitting imagine sitting in a small room the rest of your life, you're like, that's torture.
Yeah, I mean, because like honestly, sometimes what can be our greatest punishment is our own conscience. Which is I can see both sides of it, but I mean, whatever the justice system decides to do is ultimately up to them. We're just merely observers of the situation, unfortunately. But but again, hearts go out to our thoughts and prayers go out to you guys that were affected. Also, anybody in my own community at all that was affected by this, I love you guys. If you want someone to talk to, I'm here, and Gertrude's here, and Misa's in my community too. So if you guys need someone to talk to, come to us. We're perfectly willing to talk to you. So so we're gonna go ahead and move away from that to something positive, which is really great. And this excites me because Star Trek technology is finally here, and I shall explain.
Yes.
So Star Trek like Vision finally exists. A company called eSight, and I'm reading off my notes here. A company called eSight has created a special visor with cameras that allows blind people to see, and in some cases have zoomed vision that is better than normal vision to people. Let's see. I put a host note here. Articles really. Okay. So I'm gonna head. I love my own show notes sometimes. It makes me laugh, actually. So basically, let me actually scrub to, well, I'll show some photos here. So this is apparently what the device looks like. It is actually controlled through a handheld device that the blind person wears, and it allows them to adjust the camera, allows them to just adjust their bit of vision. And somebody who's actually wearing this, does it say what her actual name is? An example, okay. An example, Henderson. Okay, so Miss Henderson Rosa Henderson is actually one of these people who is lucky enough to experience this technology. In this particular section here, Henderson talked about attending classes at college where she would normally have to have special arrangements ahead of time to sit at the very front of the room, and often bring an assistant along with the dictation and note-taking. That's after making the journey to college in the first place, which may have involved the help of other people, using a cane, or owning a service animal, and always required a considerable planning. Not possible, but hugely restrictive, and very reliant on others. It's hard for sighted people to understand how difficult all this is. Imagine performing your everyday routine with your eyes closed. It's probably pretty similar. Henderson explained that without e-sight, she sees nothing long distance and couldn't make out any facial features at all. When I sat less than a meter away, yet with e-sight on, not only could she see what I looked like, but she also attends those classes without making any prior arrangements, travels safely on her own, and works in the class on her own anywhere she likes. The classroom experience is a microcosm of real life. Reading signs, being able to see long distances, crossing roads, recognizing people, and even using an Apple Watch is now possible for Henderson and e-sight wearers. To hear her describe the difference it has made to her life is extremely uplifting. It's not the first assistive device she has used, having experienced everything from a cane to a massive magnification machine that resembles an old microfiche reader and allowed her to view documents. While these often assist with single tasks, none were very convenient, and some didn't even work at all. Everything is solved with e-sight because it enables the wearer to actually see. The e-sight is a visor-like device worn on the head with a pair of corrective glasses built in if they needed. A high-speed camera views the world around the wearer, projecting the image onto a pair of OLED screens, where special software enhances and cleans up the image. There's no lag. The images produced don't have a digital appearance, and because the visor can be lowered and lifted, peripheral vision isn't ruined and is arguably a true definition of augmented reality.
Oh boy. Okay. It reminds me from Star Trek, Lieutenant
Geordi
LaForge.
Ah, you caught it. Hey, yeah. Good job.
Yes.
Very awesome.
Now, the big difference between Mrs. Rosa Henderson and LaForge is LaForge was completely blind without his visor, his visors, and
yes,
his later on his upgraded eyes.
Right.
So while this is definitely a huge benefit for those who are considered legally blind or have very, very bad issues with seeing, it's not just yet to the point of saying, hey, you're blind, completely 100% blind to I can see completely. Now,
yeah.
Am I taking away from this whole fact that this was created? No. This is the start of it.
Yes, it's the infancy.
This is the start.
Yeah, definitely the infancy of this.
That it is possible.
Definitely. Misa.
And she also
sorry.
looks
Go
like
ahead.
a a sniper killer, an assassin. You know, if you look at the front of the camera.
I guess so.
You've played the game Splinter?
No, I never played Splinter Cell. No.
Oh, Splinter Cell. That's almost. I mean, other than the three little eye sockets there.
Yeah.
That's basically the goggles that he wore.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Nisa, what do you think of this?
I think it's really awesome, and it's definitely going to keep advancing. I mean, that's anything with technology. Because look how fast cell phones changed. Cell phones went from block phones, and then 20 years later, they're touch.
We're back to block phones.
I mean, my phone isn't that... Well, it's in a rounded case, but it's not that blocky, but yeah.
But yeah, no, I get it. You know, yeah, we went from those big, huge phones that all you could do was make a phone call, and now we have an entire computer packed into this little device.
That is true.
So imagine how this piece of technology is going to grow within like 10 years. It's going to be crazy.
I can see it where they can add additional sensors to the visor for people who work in science or military. Imagine like someone who's blind almost completely and is able to have, because of their technology, they're able to have like, heat sensors or detect, basically almost a real life version of Geordi's visor used for military or even, like rescue operations or just somebody who could work now in fire or police situations or whatever, and they have this enhanced vision. And in some cases, as it mentioned here, the people who wear this have almost better vision than someone who's actually sighted with 20/20 vision. That's exciting. That is really cool. I'm very happy for people that are not able to see. Now there's a chance. Now, unfortunately, if I can actually quick find it here, unfortunately, eSight costs about $10,000. However, Jeff Fenton, eSight's director of outreach, is infectious to help eSight to get in the hands of people who need it. The company offers a financial plan plus a way to donate and contribute to a worthy cause, making blindness a thing of the past by 2020. So that's really encouraging if they're willing to push technology. That's basically about 2 years from now that they could potentially have this technology fully deployed at a lower cost for anybody that wants to use it. That is encouraging.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Works.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, well, go ahead and move down our article train. Choo choo.
I'm ready for a webcam.
Oh, all right. Okay, let me.
Hey, we're gonna
see if go ahead and
in the cam.
If you have the pure
link.
link.
The link.
Yeah, she should have the link. Hold on, guys. Will we go ahead and do a small technical adjustment here? Let's see. I'll drop the link for you again. Just to make sure
I dropped the link too.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, cool. You're ahead of me. That's awesome because that's less I have to worry about.
Yeah.
While you go ahead and do that, I'm going to talk about this. Apparently, Amazon is wanting to establish a new headquarters. Will be in one of two cities. They're picking between either Washington, D.C. or I believe in, where was it? Oh, let me go ahead and let her in here. We're going to adjust this. Give a sec, guys. Let me see if my camera wants to be cool. See if this wants to be... Oh, where's... Okay, wow. I haven't adjusted... Hey, there it is. And let me drop this and let me transition. Hey, there's a real life person. And let me go ahead and cool. And I'll go ahead and transition back. Awesome. Right. So as I said, Amazon is apparently trying to decide a new location for its headquarters. Now, apparently, I had this article submitted, of course, by once again my mom, who's very sweet. And apparently, Jeff Bezos, who is the, of course, CEO of Amazon, apparently was trying to decide where to put his location based on where he wants to spend his time, not where like economically it's suitable. So while this is a very short article, what do you guys think of this? Like CEOs deciding on where they want to spend more of their time versus like instead of being more focused on the economy that they're dropping their headquarters in. I mean, is that really, that just seems so like, oh, I don't care about the economy there.
Honestly, I'm just like, what's the point of the headquarters? Is that or is this going to be where like people actually work? I mean, not like CEO. I'm talking about like normal everyday people work to put packaging together and whatnot. Is that what we're talking about here? As a headquarters?
I think so. I kind of skimmed this article. Unfortunately, there's not much to the body of the article and stuff. But apparently it was just talking about where they wanted to drop the new location and stuff. So unfortunately there wasn't it was just a very short article, so again, it's here, what's here is what's here, but I thought it'd be an interesting subject nonetheless. So
okay. Well, I mean, honestly, it's up to them where they want to headquarter it, but why is this a thing?
Yeah, why? Like, I mean, it's kind of like, instead of being concerned about, how much you're going to benefit the area because people are looking for jobs right now, it's kind of like, oh, it's just, whatever's convenient for me. I like Florida. I like DC. It's like, But there are people who could use jobs here and there. Like, why do you have to be so... I don't know. Misa, what do you think?
I think that big corporations don't care about people in small communities anyway, so they are making lots of money, and it's sad, but it's the truth that, like, big corporations, all they care about is money. They don't care about small communities or your local, area. Where they're going to locate themselves is going to be where is beneficial for them. And not for other people. That's just how it is.
I really hate that, though, that, like, that's what is, like, it's never, and corporate America just drives me up the wall. It's just kind of like, why can't we just think about what is practical and helpful to the people? It's always, like, I understand, yeah, like, corporations have to make money, stay in business, but, like, why can't somebody just be concerned about just, like, people like us, that just, this is what we, we're all looking for work and not, not always be so concerned about how much profit you're making.
Well, here's the positive side of it. At least they're not moving to Mexico.
True.
Okay.
Very true.
At least they're staying in the U.S. I mean, that's I got to put a little positive spin on it. I mean, most companies want to leave the U.S. and then it doesn't benefit us at all.
Yeah,
that's true. Always gotta look at the positive.
Yeah. Archer says in chat, America is lame, Kappa. All right. Well, that was kind of a short article, but we're going to have to actually move on to something that I thought was interesting. I saw this on Twitter from a friend. Tokyo wants to build a 350 meter tower made of wood.
Wood. Fire hazards. Have they not learned?
Like, I mean, okay, first of all, like, okay, so apparently, all right, so I guess let's see, how short was this article? All right, I guess I'll go ahead and just read through this. A skyscraper set to be built in Tokyo will become the world's tallest to be made of wood. The Japanese wood production company Simoto...
Termites.
I don't know, how do you pronounce that, Gertron?
Where are we looking? I'd say Sumitomo Forestry Co.
is proposing to build a 350 meter, 1,148 foot, 70-floor tower to commemorate its 350th anniversary in 2041. The Japanese government has long advertised the advantage of wooden buildings, and in 2020 passed a law requiring 2010 passed a law to requiring it to be used for all public buildings of 3 stories or fewer. Oh my gosh, I wish I could pronounce their company's name. I'm really trying. This forestry building company said the new building, known as the W350 project, oh how original, was an example of urban development that is kind for humans. Okay, first of all, when was buildings never kind for humans? Like,
I don't know.
Like, we use brick. Like, how is that not kind to humans? It's still made of organic material. Like, hello?
I just have to point out a couple flaws right quick. Okay.
Go for it.
We've already talked about fire hazards.
Right.
What about termites?
Oh!
Seriously?
I didn't think about that.
It just goes right through the floor, and your foot is now covered with termites. I mean, come on! You're basically saying, "Here, eat all you want, dine in."
I hope they don't follow through with it, because it's just a bad idea.
Oh my gosh!
And okay, come on! Not only termites, but there's carpenter ants.
Oh,
and there's woodpeckers.
Oh,
well,
I don't know if they
animals in general are gonna move in. You're gonna have squirrels running around. What the heck?
Woody Woodpecker.
Exactly.
Okay.
They'll build it. Who knows how long it takes to build, and it'll be down in half that time because of natural animals and natural disasters.
Well, if I can go on to read here, because the funny part was they mentioned earthquakes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With more high-rise architecture made of wood and covered with greenery, making over cities as forests, the new building will be predominantly wooden with 10% steel. Its interior framework of columns, beams, and braces made of a hybrid of the two materials will take account of Japanese high rate of seismic activity. The Tokyo-based architecture firm Nikki Sikiki, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Who knows?
Contributed to the design. These people and their Japanese names. I love you guys, but dang, man. The interior architecture with 555,000 square meter of floor space will be made entirely of wood. Renderings show light-filled apartments, offices, and shops. I think it's balconies. All four sides of the building. Exterior will facilitate the spread of greenery from the ground to the top floors, contributing to urban biodiversity. It is estimated that it will take 185,000 cubic meters of wood to complete the entire structure. The total constructive costs are expected to be approximately, I think this is what, 600 yen. I think it's their currency apparently.
I'm thinking 600 billion yen.
Oh yeah, billion yen, and whatever this other unit conversion is. I'm not even gonna try.
That's in that's
pounds.
Pounds, yes. UK. Yeah.
Almost double that of the conventional high-rise building. Okay, all right. There are so many things that's wrong with this on so many levels. Like, I don't even know if I can continue. Like, I can't continue reading all without laughing. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, okay, seismic activity. Imagine how many trees are gonna have to write down.
I mean,
it kind of reminds. Are they saying it's supposed to benefit the environment somehow?
They're trying to say it will.
But how? Because you
cut down so many trees.
Exactly. Yes. Like you're cutting down trees and you're just reshaping what they look like. Like it's literally all that this is.
I mean,
it sounds like somebody just needed something to do for the summer.
It kind of reminds me of Minecraft.
Yeah.
You know, in Minecraft you make a wooden house.
Right? Yeah.
For lightning, they probably are gonna have to do something like that. Otherwise, it's gonna just get.
It's gonna go up in smoke.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, why is this? Like, I don't understand. Okay, you're not helping yourself. Okay, Japan, as I recall, is a very it's very greenery. It's very they love their environments and stuff, and it's usually pretty well preserved and stuff. So now you're gonna take all of these trees of your native land. You're going to cut them all down. You're going to repurpose it. And for what? You're just turning a tree into a building, but you're cutting down, you're destroying more of your forest land to build a wooden building that is just as subject to fires and whatever as your forest that you just ripped down.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're going to turn fire spread off.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, slash game rule for do fire tick off. I mean, I don't know.
It's probably gonna look beautiful for a couple months, and then they're gonna look at it and they're gonna have warped wood. I mean, they're gonna have trees.
Imagine the rain, weather, earthquakes, fires, the apocalypse. I mean, what? I mean, bugs, termites. I mean, there's so many things that's wrong with this. Like, I feel like somebody. It's just. It almost feels like somebody that just like. It feels like somebody that just either had too much money on their hands, had too much time on their hands, or just wanted something to do. I don't know why this is a thing, but it is. Who knows? Oh, okay. We've torn this article apart enough. All right, we're gonna have just move on. Okay. Moving on. Does somebody want to take an article? I feel like I've been stealing all the thunder. Does somebody want to take an article? Gertrude, Misa, go ahead. Misa, do you want to take the article about sports cars? Do you like sports cars?
I honestly don't know much about sports cars.
Oh, well, this one might be. I mean, this one's pretty. Gertrude, do you want to take this instead? I want to make sure that everybody gets some equal share here, and I feel like I'm doing all the talking, and I feel terrible.
Sport cars.
This one about dozens of sports cars covered in a public garage.
Oh.
Yo.
Dozens of sports cars worth millions found in public garage. But where is it? There's an automotive mystery in Memphis. And can somebody drop the link in Twitch for me?
Yeah.
While I'm doing this. Yep.
Portrait
photographer and Redditor Phil Sevens was poking around in an office building parking deck when he came across a surprising find. On the top floor, a few above what's open to the public, he discovered over 24 dusty classic and high-performance sports cars that are worth millions of dollars combined.
Gee whiz.
Oh, wow.
Among
them are several rarities, including the couple of Ferrari Specials, Lamborghinis, and even a pretty mint-looking 1958 Chevrolet Impala.
Oh my gosh, these cars look so good. Yeah, this.
Wow.
Yeah, these are absolutely like these are so beautiful. He said in a post that the building has security cameras, but he was able to stroll right in. He wouldn't say exactly where it is. That hasn't stopped others from publishing the address, but we're not going to ruin the fun. Aww. That's what Google is for.
Ruin the fun. Somebody else published it, so I'm gonna find the address and we're gonna share it live.
As for who they belong to, one comment on the post claims that the cars are property of the Heinz race team, an outfit whose website is down right now because it exceeded its bandwidth, likely because of all the attention it's gotten from the pics. Anyone saddened by the idea of so many great cars sitting around apparently unused can find solace in another comment from someone who says that they know the owner personally and that he drives a different one every day. It's just it's just that there are so many, they get dirty while they're waiting their turn. Tough life. But I mean, why? Like, okay, first of all, if this guy is rich enough to own these cars, he is rich enough to make a big garage to house his automobiles. Why are these sitting in a parking garage? Like, I'd be afraid of somebody, like, stealing all of these. Like, these are some nice cars. Like, seriously.
I'm afraid of an earthquake destroying
Yes. As we were just talking about earlier.
That's how he got rich, is by making shortcuts and not paying for a big parking garage for himself. That's why he's rich.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, yeah, it's so, oh my gosh. And some of these, like, just, like, I mean, I know it's only the back of these, but, man, these are, like, seriously, like, nice looking cars. I can probably tell. But, oh, man.
What unsettles me the most here is while you're looking through them, all these pictures that are currently being shown, most of them look like the cars are in halfway decent shape. As far as, not dusty and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we get down to the last photo here, and you can clearly tell they're not taking care of these vehicles. Whoever owns these vehicles does not deserve these vehicles.
I agree completely. Yeah.
If you're going to have all these really nice vehicles, you got to take care of them.
Yeah. I mean, this one, I could just draw a smiley face on it right now. Like if I wanted to, like if I was actually there, that's what I would do. It's just right. I was here. Wait, who? Oh my goodness. And speaking, we're gonna actually go ahead and I did this on purpose. Speaking of driver's license, it is possible that in the future your driver's license, your physical card, could be replaced by a cell phone app. Which is, I can already see the security issues. Let me see, did I write notes? Because I've not referenced my notes in quite a few minutes here.
As far as while you're looking for your notes, as far as security issues, you can already get like your car insurance on an app. And as far as like driver's license on an app, I don't think that's actually going to be that huge of an issue.
Well, let me go ahead and...
it'd be actually beneficial. I mean, and I don't think it'll be everybody that's going to get one. I think it'll be kind of like with Progressive car insurance. I get my card in the mail, but there's also one that I can just put on my phone, and it's allowable in Missouri. And it counts, so it's a lot easier. So I think what it'll be is you can have your physical license as well, but you can also have it on your phone as well.
Okay. Let me go ahead and read the notes here. So Fox News reported, FoxNews.com reported saying the following: your driver's license could be replaced by a cell phone app if a pilot program involved 4 states and the District of Columbia works out. We will see great utility in the future with mobile driver's license that don't exist today with physical plastic cards, said Paul Greasy with the Commerce Department National Institute of Standards and Technology. That is a long name. With innovation occurring on mobile platforms, it almost makes too much sense to add this as an option. Nest provided a $2 billion grant. 2 million. Yeah, I love it.
Big difference.
Yeah, dyslexia for the win. $2 million grant to cybersecurity company called Gemoto. Wait, how do you pronounce that? Gemaldo? To design and test a digital license in a 2-year pilot program. The purpose of that pilot is really to test the technology before we went to a full-scale implementation, according to Tiffany Conway, field marketing director of Gemalto North America. Now, I do need to ask one question here because, well, actually, a couple questions. What if, okay, I have a cell phone. Misa Girl has a cell phone. Gertrude, you have a cell phone. My mom doesn't have a cell phone. What if? No, hold on a sec. What do you do about the old people and the people who don't own cell phones? What if this becomes a national standardized thing that we have to have this app in order to legally drive?
Okay, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be, if you have a cell phone, great, you can use it. If you don't have a cell phone, then you still get your standard plastic ID card that you've always been used to. I think you're actually, even if you do have a cell phone, you're still going to get the plastic version regardless.
Now,
now you can also have it on your phone as well, just in case. So if you forget your driver's license, well, most people don't forget their phone.
Well, see, something that I don't know if this was my mom or somebody pointed out that, like, what happens if, like, you get pulled over by an officer and your license is on your phone? The officer could take your phone, go look at your license, and also look at all your personal stuff about, look at your social media if they wanted to or whatever. They could take however long they wanted and then come back, and you would never know that your phone's been rummaged through while they were supposedly looking at your license. I mean, that's... Think about that for a sec here.
I could see that being an issue, but I personally think, it's going to be like when you go to the grocery store and you see the people walking around with the little scanner gun things.
Mm-hmm. Price guns.
I think it's going to be something like that. They're not actually going to take your phone. You're going to show them your phone with the ID, and they're going to use their little gun, scan it, and then that's it.
Yeah, because don't police officers technically need like a warrant to get into your phone?
No.
Yeah.
No,
they do. They
do. Like how they can't look through your car, or, well, I think I don't know all the technical things. I know they can't look through your house unless they have a warrant. I would assume it's the same way with the phone, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've looked into this because there was this big issue with the FBI wanting to get into this guy's Apple phone.
Oh yeah, that incident a couple years ago. Yeah,
there was a huge issue about that. Apple was not going to hack into it for them. They had to hack it themselves, and they're not going to be able to look through your stuff without your permission or without probable cause.
Mm-hmm.
But cops probably will still do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that just the idea of it's like it makes it we are so dependent on these little gadgets. I feel like it's getting to the point where we're becoming too dependent on this. Okay, like theoretical idea. Your battery dies, right? You get pulled over by an officer. Can I see your driver's registration? Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I don't have a way of charging my phone, and my license is on my phone.
Well, then that's your fault.
Yeah, but I mean, but that doesn't.
Sorry.
But okay, so what? But then, like, what happens though? Like, I mean, does he be like, oh, maybe, okay, I'll just off with a warning? I mean,
maybe like if you show it to a cop, it won't be considered a valid form of identification. I think maybe cops might need to have an actual in-hand thing, and it could be used at grocery stores as an ID for like, I don't know, getting alcohol, or like if they need to have proof of identification because of your signature on your card or whatever. If your card isn't signed, they need to see an ID. But I think maybe if you get pulled over, hopefully a cop would need an actual ID.
Yeah.
And you would just have to hold on to both. It's more just like a convenience thing, kind of like when you go into the store kind of thing. I don't think it's going to replace everything though. Like, I highly doubt that.
I want to say that, like, I would half agree with you, Misa, but then on the other hand, the other half of me is that, like, knowing, like, where things are going and how, and, you know, new forms of ID and stuff, I get the feeling that at some point somebody's going to be like, we need to just make this mandatory. This is just how you do it regardless.
No.
Yeah.
Archer says in chat here, they cannot look through your car, person, or house without a warrant, probable cause, or your consent. So,
Exactly.
I mean, but there has been cases where officers did do things, as
now, here's what happens. If they look through your stuff without probable cause, it can't be held against you in court of law. There have been so many cases that have been completely dismissed because the police did not follow the right procedures. Even though the evidence completely shows that person is guilty, completely, all of a sudden that evidence is no longer counted in the court, and they have to find new evidence now, put that person away because the police failed to do their job. It's kind of like the whole memorandum, you know, you have the right to remain silent, and you do
Miranda rights.
If they don't say that to you while they're arresting you, if they never say that, that entire case can be thrown out.
So there's some other stuff down the article here. I'm gonna just go ahead and quick look over here. What keeps the government from overreaching? Rachel said, what keeps them from going to the next step? And really is the only another step or two to the national ID where they know everything about you. One of our very first tenets is no national ID, Gracie said to the work Nest is doing, and the mobile driver's license would be no different. Each individual state would still be in control of a driver's license information as they are now, he said. Donna Jennison manages the driver's license office in Lakewood, Colorado, which took part in the field testing for Gemalto's product. Everyone wants it right now, and I think that the digital license is the wave of the future, personally and professionally, Jennison said. Jennison said one of the biggest advantages to going to a digital would be the ability to update a license information remotely. It would basically keep them out of the office, and for all those people with special needs that are in nursing homes, that have no issues to just get a driver's license office. She said it's so simple. There's still a year to go in the pilot, during which Gemalto will focus on how to use the digital ID for things like setting up accounts online instead of manually typing in information. And then we'll take all the results that we found, Conway said, and we'll take a new refined technology and present it to all states, and it will really be up to them to determine when they like to implement this with full-scale fashion. Gracie believes that most Americans will have the choice of using a digital driver's license or sticking with the old hard copy within the next 5 years.
Okay. Woo. Well, now, I am going to point out here, I am going to go back to the whole car insurance deal.
Go for it.
Some states don't allow you to have the digital car insurance. If you show the cop, I mean, you can show the cop your digital car insurance, and they're going to be like, well, that's not valid for us. We need a hard copy. So what I think is going to happen here is certain states are going to be like, you can have the digital copy. That's perfectly fine. But if you're pulled over by the cops, they still fully expect you to have the hard copy on you.
Yeah.
It's just going to be state by state, how lax they're going to be. I mean, some states may be like, digital, if you don't have the hard copy on you, that's completely fine. As long as you have the digital, we're okay. And some might be, if you only have the digital and no hard copy, well, guess where you're going to be spending the night.
And see, the problem is that, like, depending on, I feel like, especially the state that I'm in, I really feel like that they're going to be the ones to be like, yes, you have to have the digital version, no hard copy, regardless of whatever. Like, there's certain states I just feel like based on, you know, like, it's, and I know that certain states are copycat states of the others, so, you know, people like to copy California or vice versa, whatever. It's kind of like, you know, if they implement this and it's like, oh no, not by choice, you have to. I don't know. I just don't think this is. I just there's so many
happening that way.
But there's for me, there's just so many security holes I'm worried about, though.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, getting a smartphone, you can get a smartphone that is extremely cheap. I mean, I can go out there, I can buy a smartphone for like $65. Granted, it's not going to be that hip and that powerful, but it's still going to be a smartphone, and it's going to be able to do that as well. So, it's not going to be that difficult, or it'll be a government-issued smartphone if it comes down to
government-issued. Yeah. Oh gosh, Lord only knows what'll be on there.
You have a choice between iPhone or Android.
Well, again, like we've talked about on the show, security and me, so feel free to jump in at any time if you got something to say.
Yes, we like to keep talking. Don't feel like you're interrupting. Just
jump in. We've talked about on the show security. We've talked about Android phones getting hacked, iPhones getting hacked, viruses, whatever, and stuff like that. What worries me is that no security is perfect, no matter how good it's coded. Nothing is ever perfect coding-wise. And so what concerns me is that, you know, depending on what gets released out there, somebody picks up something on their phone and, you know, oh, wow, they've got their license. Perfect. Steal all that information. You know, you've heard of digital banks being hacked. You've heard of social medias being hacked. Now we're going to end up hearing reports of licenses were hacked. I mean, look what Equifax example. I mean, look at Equifax. They got hacked and they had people's millions of records on there. And that's all digitally stored.
Now, if you watch the video, or even down at the picture, it's one of those I don't know what you actually call that.
QR codes.
QR code. I mean, honestly, what I'm kind of thinking is that QR codes aren't going to be able to be scanned by certain things, and it'll be kind of security implementation there where you can't just take your phone. Like I can't take my phone, scan another phone, and be like, hey, that's what the QR code is. There we go. We're good. And also, I mean, it's not like, I don't think it's going to be putting like really vital information other than, you know, your name, address, you know, what's normally on your driver's license, which in all honesty, I have no problem sharing my driver's license. I mean, granted, I'm not going to share it on stream because y'all don't need to know where I live, but
right.
I
mean, I don't think security is like, yeah, it's an issue, but we're not safe either way. Even with all the technology we have now, like, we're all walking identities, even with our phone now. Like, people can take whatever they want. They can scan your credit card through your pocket, even with those, like, quote-unquote protective cases. It's people, if you're going to get your identity hacked, I mean, it's on you. You should just have identity theft protection for yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're pretty much doomed either way. Not to sound like a Debbie Downer, but it's just true. So the security part, it's like we're already screwed. So
true.
Yeah.
You know.
True. All right, we're gonna head and move to, let's see how many more articles we got here.
I think we got one more.
One more, and this is Gertron's because he wrote this, and this was so funny how this came together. Gertron, take it away, please. Final article.
Okay, so I don't know if who's all was here in the last couple streams when we were kind of talking about Star Wars and EA and how
microtransactions
EA is. Well, Disney is now thinking, and this is all rumor at this point, nothing's been 100% guaranteed, but Disney is thinking about canceling EA Star Wars license. Now, the EA snagged the exclusive license deal to create and publish Star Wars games all the way back in 2013. In that time, however, EA has struggled with the property. The first game they announced and released was Star Wars Battlefront, which actually suffered a lot of backlash with its lack of single-player campaign and launching with such little content that many became bored with it quickly. And subsequent DLC packs added a lot of great content, but by the end, everyone was waiting to see what was next. Now, everybody was thinking Battlefront 2 coming out was going to be the fix-all. It was going to be the better option. However, Battlefront 2, as me and Grid found out, brought only more problems.
Yes.
And rubber banding. A lot.
And server issues. And yes.
Yeah.
Continue.
And, of course, the loot boxes.
Loot boxes.
Despite making changes at the last minute, the launch was pretty rocky, and the whole debacle has brought a wave of attention down on loot boxes in gaming, with some governments looking to crack down on the practices. One of those practices that I saw was they're thinking about laws that would mean only people aged 21 years and older can buy a game that has loot box related items,
because they consider it as a form of gambling, to clarify.
Gambling, yeah. EA's latest financial statements have shown the impact with sales down and failing to meet expectations. Now, from what I've heard, Lucasfilms is upset as well and looking for other options. I mean, there's been a couple sources that they're thinking that for Star Wars gaming, according to them, Disney, LFL, higher ups pulled EA to the principal's office. You know, when you get pulled to the principal's office, you're going to get a talking to.
Right.
They're probably in trouble.
Right.
And more so, they've apparently reached out to both Ubisoft and Activision about developing Star Wars games, which I personally think is a great idea.
I'm going to jump on that in a minute when you're done reading that. I have differing opinions, but continue.
What's your opinion?
So I like to poke at Destiny 2 because I played that and it was frankly like the worst $60 I ever spent on it. Now I play it for kicks and giggles, honestly. Okay, Destiny 2 has also had some fire as well with, you know, cruddy loot boxes things, lack of, you know, content, things like that. Destiny 2 was supposed to be the fix for Destiny 1, was released to PC through Blizzard Entertainment, and once again, just not a bad implementation of a video game. I am very concerned if they consider Ubisoft or Activision, knowing what their practices are very similar to EA, greatly concerns me. I would rather that somebody like maybe like DICE, you know, or like Square Enix maybe take the title, because I've seen some Square Enix games, I've seen some games by DICE, and they're usually a lot better development, implementation, things like that. That depends on what their preference is and everything, but that concerns me that Ubisoft and Activision would be a consideration, honestly, with the whole thing.
Well, yeah, and I can see that. Now, at the same time, if we weren't going to be looking at either one of those, Bethesda, would be another great one.
That would be.
Yeah, I agree
Star
with
Wars
that.
game.
Definitely.
I mean, look at Skyrim and Fallout.
Yeah, and Misa, you stream a lot of Skyrim too, don't you?
Well.
Yeah, I think that would probably be like a perfect fit for Star Wars games because it just suits it with how they create their games. Like it'd be perfect.
Absolutely.
What would be cool is if they made Skyrim-based Star Wars.
I don't know about that.
But with multiplayer aspect. I don't know if any of you, or even better. I got it.
Oh,
I don't know if
next
any of you
idea.
played Planet Side 2, which I don't think that was created by Bethesda. That was played by other people.
Developed by somebody else.
Huge world. Thousands of players on the world, vehicles, aircraft, all that kind of stuff. Imagine that Star Wars related and Star Wars typed.
Right.
I think
that'd be great.
Would be awesome.
That's what everybody wants. But you know what? These companies are too dumb to actually implement anything. That's the problem. That's why everybody is ticked off, because you know I'm getting, like, again, this goes back to my annoyance a little bit earlier when I was talking about Amazon trying to figure out where they wanted to drop their next warehouse. Corporate America is not, nor ever has been, nor ever will be, considerate of the general public. They are always, I mean, yes, I understand. It costs money to make a game. It costs money to deploy it. It costs money for marketing. You have to pay literally thousands of people in a production. I get it. It does. But it's getting to the point where it's actually just getting ridiculous. And EA crapped on Star Wars Battlefront 2. They've crapped on some other things. EA has a very bad reputation for a couple other of their titles and stuff, and now Activision and Ubisoft, oh my gosh, with the Assassin's Creed titles, that wasn't too great either, from what I've have followed the history on that one as well. But it's like, is there nobody else beside these 3 AAA title companies that would be, you know, beside Bethesda and maybe, you know, Square Enix or whatever, that could actually do it, make a Star Wars game and do it right. And it bugs me that Disney owns the right to Star Wars now. It's not by Lucasfilms. They bought the rights to Star Wars, and that's a killer even unto itself, because even Disney hasn't made a whole lot of great financial decisions. The whole thing is just like, please, can you not? Thank you. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm just looking at the original Star Wars Battlefront from 2004 and 2005 because I was kind of curious as to who created them.
Yes.
It was created by Pandemic Studios, which I've heard of Pandemic Studios, but I haven't heard of Beanox or Mikoshi. But you know, I kind of think they need to go back to those people and say, hey, can you fix their mistake? Because the original Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 from the early 2000s were amazing.
Yes.
I didn't love them, and I still enjoy them greatly.
I sort of played some of it, not all of it.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005 was the best because that's where they actually added in legit space fights.
Yeah. Misa, you're sort of sitting up in the corner there. What do you think? I want to know.
Well, I haven't played any of the Battlefront games, but I would say that the makers of Skyrim and Fallout, like I said earlier, I think that would be like the best people to do it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. So there was part of a video, but it's like 5 minutes long, and I don't want to steal off somebody else's content right now and such. But you guys can...
We'll copy it, and we will...
dump it in the chat. And Gertrude's probably already on the case for doing that, so...
Yeah. And the YouTube video, basically, it just goes through the article anyways, so...
It's just, if you would rather listen than read, that's right there and stuff for you.
I mean, that's why you're here anyway. You're here to listen and not read anyhow.
First, yeah. So, all right, cool. That brings us to a close of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Misa Girl, thank you for being a part of the show today. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'd love to have you again if you're interested. And are you streaming tonight? Because I'd love to give you a shout out while we're live here.
Yeah, I'll be streaming in about 40 minutes at 6 o'clock.
Oh,
Central
gosh.
Time.
All right. Cool. So if you guys want to check it out, it's twitch.tv/MisaGirl27. Mind if I asking, what are you streaming tonight, if I may ask? What do you got planned?
I'm going to start off with Fortnite and then switch over into whatever game I feel like I'm going to play.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thank you again for joining us, Gertron. Always a pleasure. And
always a pleasure.
And until then, we'll catch you guys later. I will probably be streaming maybe sometime later tonight too. I have no idea. It depends on what I have to do before then. But you guys can just keep an eye on my Twitter and my Discord and all that stuff. And until then, we will catch you guys later. Have an awesome night and see you soon.
See you.